Hi, Brianna Flynn here, and I'm here to do my second vlog for my global project learning assignment. I want to apologize. I am at work, and I've just been so busy. It's been like a lot of stuff going on in my life that has been hindering me from doing a lot of my homework. And I just want to make sure that I'm like caught up in doing my homework, and this is like the best time for me to do it right now because it'll be like 2 o'clock in the morning by the time I get off work and turn it in. So I'm here now doing it. For my assignment, I chose to do my project with the Alliance, and they didn't have any events or any meetings coming up, so I went and met with them at lunch, and I met with about four of them, and we talked about social issues, we talked about pronouns, and we talked about the respecting other people's opinion. One thing we talked about was the trans congresswoman in Virginia, Jennifer Weston. We talked about how brave she was for doing what she did. We talked about how she got a lot of controversy. We talked about how she is record-breaking because she is the first transgender in America's Congress. And we talked about like the things that she wanted to do for Virginia and the change that she brought with acceptance in the LGBTQ community in Virginia. We also talked about women's murders and domestic violence, of how there is a higher rate of women being murdered by their partners or being murdered by men that are trying to talk to them. We had a conversation about a woman who was at a gas station in Detroit. That's where I'm from, Detroit. In Detroit, and she was at a gas station, and she turned down a dude, and he shot her, and he followed her home and shot her in her face, and she died from being shot in the face. And we talked about that. We talked about how black women or females in general are targeted, how we are always put as the blame for anything that happens to us, or if we're raped, it's because you were wearing a short skirt, or if if guys are talking to you, it's because you're putting yourself out there like that. It's about what you wear, or you wore this, or you did that. And like, if you get robbed, oh, you didn't have any mace. So like, we're automatically like, we're basically raised to try to defend ourselves, and if we don't take the right precautions to try to defend ourselves, it's our fault if anything happens to us, when in reality it's the predator's fault, or the person that's committing this crime against this act of violence against us fault. And the same thing for transgender women and men. We went into a conversation about how transgenders are being murdered by men. Transgender women are being murdered by men because they have sexual relations and don't find out that they had sex with a former man until after they've had sex, and then they get so upset that they drive themselves to commit murder. And we also talked about how in some states that's legal. If you commit a crime of passion, that is legal. And we had a conversation about that. We had a conversation about a gay man who was shot at a night bar, and we also had a conversation about the people who were shot at the gay nightclub in Las Vegas. And a couple things that I learned was that we're kind of under like the same heat lamp when it comes to LGBTQ and women, but me considering myself as a black woman, we're under the same heat lamp with people having with us having the same oppressions, like the same hatred toward us, the same disrespect, the same limelight of us not being able to be as good as men, or not being able to be as good as transgenders not being able to be good as a natural woman, when in reality you should be able to just respect someone's personal opinion. And that is the end of my video.